Welcome back to Small Town TNR. In this video, we're going to talk about the supplies you need for trapping. Now, if you are a volunteer for FC3, thank you so much for being on the team and helping us out with trapping the community cats in our area. So this is basically our procedure and our process for how we trap cats and the supplies that we take. Now, if you are a volunteer for another organization, you will find this helpful and most likely a lot of things in common. Just make sure that when you work with your other organization that you confirm with them how they want things done. Everybody's a little bit different, and you just want to make sure that you're following their process and their procedures. So I'm going to go through the supplies that we need, that we use, and then I'll go through a little bit more detail for each one. Obviously, you need a trap. So we have the trap here. This is the True Catch trap. It is one of my favorite traps because it has access at both ends, and we need access in order to clean the trap and give the kitty fresh food and water. It also has a very soft close, so sometimes the kitty doesn't even realize it's been trapped. So this is one of my favorite brands of traps. I highly recommend the True Catch trap. A handful of newspapers, a handful of pee pads. Bowls are optional. Obviously, stinky, smelly food. We use the fish-flavored Fancy Feast. Really, any food will do, but you do want it to be smelly to attract the kitties when they're hungry. A trap cover and labels. So labels or stickers or however you identify the cat's name, gender, and where it came from so you know where to return it to. Okay, so getting into the nitty-gritty. Now, I do want to say everybody traps cats a little bit differently, and I always tell people as long as the cat is safe and the human is safe, there are many ways to trap a cat, and most of them are very successful. So you have to base it off of personal experience, other people's experience as to what works for you. So typically you have options, right? You can line the trap or not line the trap with newspaper or pee pads. What we do, and what I ask all of our volunteers to do, is to decide whether or not the trap should be lined based on your location and weather. So ideally the trap should be lined. However, if it's really windy, the newspaper or the pee pad is going to move around and it's going to be distracting to the cat, and the cat will most likely not go in the trap. So you decide if the cat should have a lining in it or not. Now, as soon as they go in the trap, go in the vehicle, come back to the holding location, which is what we're in, then the kitty definitely gets a liner. They get a pee pad when they come back. So when they're in here, when they're at the holding facility, I absolutely recommend a pee pad to absorb and capture any accidents, and it's easier to clean. You can have newspaper underneath the pee pad. I've seen people wrap newspaper with pee pads, so there's a lot of different options. But when it comes to setting the trap, lining it is up to you. If the cat won't go in because of the weather, don't line it. Now, what I do recommend is to put food on either rip off a little piece of paper and put food in the trap, put the food on the paper, or use small bowls. You want to be careful because the bigger containers, the bigger bowls tend to get in the way of the plate, and the kitty either doesn't step on the plate or the bowl gets stuck under the plate. So just be careful, be cognizant of how big the bowl is if you choose to use that. What we do is just rip off a piece of paper, put food on the paper, put it in the trap, and then you don't have any rustling of paper in case it's windy. You definitely need a trap cover, and as soon as the kitty goes in the trap, cover it up. Now here's another place where there's different options. Some people recommend covering the trap when it's set, and some people don't cover it until the kitty's in the trap. Again, this is optional. Both ways work. I've had experience doing both ways, and they both work. Ultimately, it's about the cat and whether or not it wants to go in the trap. Now, I have learned that some cats like the enclosure, just like going into a box, Some cats don't like it. Some cats like seeing all the way around them in order to go in and eat the food. So just lessons learned and trial and error. And if you think the trap should be covered, cover it. If you don't find that it's working, take the cover off. As soon as the kitty's in the trap, make sure you cover it right away. You don't want to leave a trap unsupervised. You want to make sure you stay as close to the trap as possible, but not be disruptive so the kitty doesn't go in. We do recommend that the trap covers have slits for the handles for easy access and easy carrying. It's really nice when you have that little cut slit right there. Now, while I have the trap cover on the trap, one thing that we also recommend is when you are traveling with the trap and the kitty, we do recommend tying it at the ends. You'll tie the trap cover at both ends, and this just keeps everything nice and tidy. It prevents the trap cover from falling off in transport. It also prevents a kitty like pulling at it from another trap maybe. So the more snug you can make the trap cover, the better. So tie a knot like this at both ends of the trap when you are doing your traveling. Okay, so trap cover, pee pads, paper, food, bowls, optional, are the supplies that are most necessary. We have stickers for labeling our traps. So we do ask that the trappers or the colony caretakers fill out all the information. If the colony caretaker has not named the kitties, then you can pick the name. We do ask that we don't name all the kitties Mama. We get a lot of kitties named Mama, and the clinics ask that we have a different name. Now we can have like Mama Moon or Mama Sunshine or Mama whatever, but we can't have just a name of Mama. So keep that in mind when you are naming the kitties that you're trapping, and fill out as much information as possible. If there's any known illnesses or ailments, we want to make note of that. If we know the approximate age, under a year, over a year, 3 years, 5 years, and then the gender. Now we don't always know the gender, obviously, but best guess. You know, if it's an orange kitty, it's most likely male. If it's a tortie or calico, it's most likely female. But sometimes colony caretakers know. So fill this out while you're with the colony caretaker, get as much information as possible, and then stick it on the trap while you're there so we are able to identify which cat this is, and then complete the paperwork for the clinic. There are FC3 stickers on the traps. Please do not cover the FC3 sticker. We need our traps to be identifiable that they belong to us. So please do not cover our organization sticker. So again, use these stickers for kitty names and all of that. And then another optional item would be a fork. You don't always need a fork when you're out trapping, but there are times when I wish I had one and I didn't. So now I always have one in my car. There are just times when you need to like contain the kitty or move the kitty, or sometimes you get 2 kitties in one trap and it's a good idea to transfer right then and there if you can, and your fork will allow you to separate the 2 kitties and transfer one of the kitties into another trap. To me, this is just like an extra security blanket while I'm out trapping, just in case. There are times when I wished I had it and I didn't, so now I just always have it just in case. And of course, now that I have it, I haven't really used it, but it's an option to have. I do recommend that. So those are the supplies that we use. And again, if you're with another organization, make sure you check in with them to see what they do, if there's anything that they do differently, or if they have any different rules or procedures or policies that they prefer you to follow. Ultimately, it is about trapping cats and getting the kitties fixed and preventing future litters. One last thing I want to cover are the carabiners. All of our traps will have 2 carabiners. We'll have one right here on this end, and this is the end where you would put the piece of paper or the bowl and you put the food right here, and then you close it and you put the lever over the front of this, and then the carabiner goes right here, and now it's secure. Make sure that this part goes over the front right here and it doesn't slip down inside. There's another video to check into on how to do that. On this end, there's a carabiner that typically just is stored right here on the side. When the kitty is trapped, you want to make sure you secure the ring to the trap. So you're just gonna push that in there and secure it to the trap so the kitty doesn't potentially lift the rings and escape. So you wanna make sure that this carabiner secures the ring to the trap. And that happens after the kitty has been trapped. So ultimately, there are many different ways to trap a cat. As long as the cat is safe and the humans are safe, there are many different ways to successfully trap cats. And it's optional if you decide to put a liner in it, if you decide to put a cover on it while it's set versus after the cat's trapped. All these ways work, and a lot of times it's just based on the cat's preference, and it's a lot of times trial and error, and we're all here to help the kitties and get the kitties fixed, and the way we do that can happen many different ways. And I just encourage everyone to appreciate what people are doing out there to get the kitties fixed. Try not to be too judgmental on how they're doing it unless they're doing it dangerously, but otherwise the kitties are getting fixed as long as they're safe and the humans are safe. Let's get some cats fixed. Let's go out and trap more cats. Thanks for watching, and tune in for the next video. We'll see you next time.